2026 may come to order. Please silence all cell phones. Stephanie, could you please call the roll?
We have Jesse Thompson here, Deb Denny's, David McKenna,
Here.
John Causey,
Here.
Thomas Bean,
Here.
John Hall,
Here.
Stephen Yates, and Larry Wheatcraft.
Here. Thank you. We'll move on to approval of the agenda. City staff, do you have any changes to the agenda?
Yes, we do have two changes, please. On item 5D, the applicant is requesting to continue this item to the February 2nd Planning and Zoning Board meeting. Also, item 5F, staff is requesting, since this is a city agenda item, to continue this item to the March 2nd Planning and Zoning Board meeting.
Okay.
I know we had originally posted on the agenda that this would be continued to February, but after further discussions, we've decided that March is a better option for us.
I do understand.
Thank you. And we will need to vote on both of these items, please.
Understood. Any discussion from the board? If there's no discussion, do I have a motion to continue item 5D to February's meeting?
So moved.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Stephanie, could you please call the roll vote?
Causey, you second?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Member McKenna,
Yes.
Member Causey,
Yes.
Member Hall,
Yes.
Member Bean,
Yes.
and Chair Wheatcraft.
Yes.
On the motion to continue agenda item 5D, ZT-1125 to the February 2nd Planning and Zoning Board meeting, the vote is 5 in favor, 0 opposed, the motion passes.
Thank you. We'll move to,
So that item will be heard Monday, February 2nd, 5:30 PM, right here in City Commission Chambers, 214 Sam's Avenue.
thank you. We'll look at item F, excuse me, 5F. Do I have a motion to continue that item to March's P and Z meeting?
So moved.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I second it.
Thank you. Stephanie, could you please call the roll vote?
Member Causey,
Yes.
Member Hall,
Yes.
Member McKenna,
Yes.
Member Bean,
Yes.
Chair Wheatcraft. On the
Yes.
motion to continue agenda item 5F, ZT-12-25, the vote is 5 in favor, or to the March 2nd Planning and Zoning Board meeting. The vote is 5 in favor, 0 opposed, the motion passes.
Thank you. We'll move on to,
So that item will be heard Monday, March 2nd, 5:30 PM, right here in City Commission Chambers, 214 Sam's Avenue.
thank you. We'll move to approval of minutes. We have December 1st minutes. Any comments, questions, concerns, discussion? If there is none, do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
I make a motion to approve the minutes from December's meeting.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Stephanie, could you please call the roll vote?
Member McKenna,
Yeah.
Member Bean,
Yes.
Member Causey,
Yes.
Member Hall,
Yes.
Chair Wheatcraft.
Yes.
On the motion to approve the December 1st, 2025 Planning and Zoning Board regular meeting minutes, the vote is 5 in favor, 0 opposed, the motion passes.
Thank you. We'll move on to public participation. In accordance with resolution number 11-89, a 3-minute limitation will be imposed unless otherwise granted by the Planning and Zoning Board. This is the opportunity to address any item not a part of tonight's agenda. So the floor is yours if you'd like to speak on anything not on the agenda tonight. Okay, seeing none, public participation is closed. We'll go right into old business with ZT-00102025, subdivision plat process. Review and give a recommendation to the City Commission to a regulation based on Senate Bill 784. City staff, do you have a report?
Good evening and Happy New Year. Shane Corbin, Development Services. Let me get set up here. All right, we're here tonight to talk about changes to our plating process. This is in response to action taken by the state. Basically, every community across the state is having to make these changes, and we're actually kind of behind on it. We had it drafted last year, planned on bringing it to you. We got comments on it. We made revisions, went back and forth with legal until we believe we've got it to a product that is acceptable to go through the process. So we'll start out with just a basic definition of a plat. It's a map or drawing depicting the division of land into lots, blocks, parcels, tracts, sites, or other divisions. And we see these all the time. You've seen them from time to time. You take one big piece of land and you break it up. And within our zoning code, we have minimum standards for width, length, access, things of that nature. And typically an engineer or architect will do the design work on them. Senate Bill 784 came along and basically was, again, approved July 1st, 2025, and so that's when the new rules went into place. The practical impact of that is local governments must adopt ordinances or resolutions designating a staff authority to approve plats administratively, update submittal and notice procedures, and implement new review timelines. This eliminates the need for final plat public hearings before governing bodies for plats that meet technical requirements. So essentially it's saying, if you're bringing in a plat and it meets all of our rules, the standards that we have set forth, such as I mentioned, access, width, length, etc., then it's not going to a public hearing. It's administratively approved based on these rules. In the draft that you got, the very first page basically lays out all the new language from the state. It's almost verbatim. Talks about the purpose, delegates the authority to the city manager, gets into the review procedure, which is different. We'll talk about that next. Establishes that the extensions can only be requested by the applicant and staff cannot request extensions, meaning if we say we're going to have this plat reviewed and approved in 30 days, we can't in 29 days say we need another 30 days on this. So when we tell someone when we'll have it done, unless they request an extension for some reason, that's when we have to have our review done, and that's to either approve or deny it. So again, the key points were to designate someone as the administrative authority. We're going with the city manager or his or her designee. Also, the law states within 7 business days, you have to acknowledge the receipt of the application in writing to the applicant. You can't sit on it for a couple of weeks. So within 7 days, you have to acknowledge that you have it. You have to identify any missing or incomplete materials for the application, and you have to provide the applicant with an expected time frame for review and the decision. Within the stated time frame, the administrative authority shall issue a written decision to approve with conditions, or deny the application. The review time frame may be extended only upon a written request by the applicant. No extension shall be required by the city as a condition of review. So that was the first page. We established all that with that language. Some other changes that go throughout this amendment. There's some minor clarifications as recommended by staff. We've changed the terminology from a preliminary plat to a sketch plat, but basically most of the language in it is the same. We changed the terminology of final plat to preliminary plat. We moved a few of the technical requirements from what was previously the preliminary plat to what was previously the final plat, which is now the preliminary plat. And we removed all the existing review process language that established how we were going to review it as existing today. And here are the technical requirements that we moved from sketch plat to preliminary plat. The opinion title issued to the city, a boundary survey certified to the city, all the detailed acreage and lots, drainage areas, common areas, streets, other uses, soils report, and environmental assessment, including tree survey. So we moved all that from the sketch plat into the preliminary plat because it's more technical. And why do we do that? Well, sketch plat is really just an entry-level conversation to have with someone that's doing subdivision of land. And there's no reason to make them spend all the money and do all the technical work on the front end. On the front end, you just want to say, what's the concept? What is it that you want to do? Does the density meet our criteria? Are your lot widths the way they should be? Where exactly is this located in the community? So you're not trying to get into the really detailed engineering, things of that nature. Identifies any constraints on the property. It's a good coordination tool between staff and a developer, and it sets up all the next steps. Sketch plat is non-binding and does not grant approval to build or record lots, but it provides feedback and direction to ensure the formal plat will comply with regulations before going any further. Preliminary plat is the formal first stage of the subdivision approval in the land development process. It comes after the sketch plat and represents detailed engineering layout of the proposed lots, drainage, infrastructure, and so forth. It ensures there is regulatory compliance, engineering feasibility, that the public agencies have had opportunity to review it, and sets the basis for construction plans. Florida Statute 177.073 titled Expedited Approval of Residential Building Permits Before a Final Plat is Recorded. This change allowed builders and developers to obtain up to 20% of their lots building permits before actually recording the final plat. Let's see, but it does require some bonding and prohibits transfer of ownership until the final plat is recorded. So the final plat is the legally prepared and approved map of a subdivision or land development that shows how the land is divided into lots, streets, easements, and other features. So this is the final step. And that gets recorded with the county clerk. Final plats turn a planned subdivision into legally recognized lots that can be sold, as well as public right-of-way. So I've got the review process side by side, old being our current process and new being what this amendment takes us to. So in the old process, the preliminary plat was reviewed administratively, came to planning and zoning, where you all would give a recommendation to the city commission, and then it would go to city commission for final action. So there were 2 public meetings for all plats. And then the final plat recording, again, would be administrative. And so what the state is requiring us to do is what you see on the right, and make all of those steps administrative. So staff will be reviewing it. If it meets all of our guidelines, design restrictions, then we're required to approve it administratively. And that's what this amendment does. I do want to say the draft that went out has at least one error in it. We tried to scrub anything from it that would be in conflict with House Bill 180. And we do have some language, professional land surveyors in section 1008, that needs to be struck before it goes to the city commission. And staff recommends approval, and with that, I'll take any questions.
Thank you. Any questions of staff?
This appears to be the state eliminating, I understand administratively, if something is in compliance with all the technical requirements, it should get an approval, but eliminates public awareness of the process. Is there anything built into this where the public will be made aware of an application for subdivision that's going on, that they can comment or review or understand?
Stephanie, do plats go on our development review report? Yeah, so on our development review report that goes out, that will be, what we'll send out into the public, but there won't be, this very specifically is designed to remove public participation in platting process if they meet all the standards. I think what happened over the years is there would be these projects where developers would spend tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars designing them, and they meet all the standards, and they bring that project in front of a public body, and then basically they get a lot of opposition from the public, and at the same time, The city's legal team is advising the city commission, this meets all of the standards, you cannot deny it. So it creates a conflict point that kind of gives the appearance that the public can, if they are opposed to it enough, they can shoot it down, when really legally they can't. Is that correct?
Yeah, but doesn't it also eliminate, let's call it a negotiation stage, that if a public comment is enough of, oh, the traffic's bad, we should need a light, we should do everything, the developer at the time before it's approved still has some desire to get his approval and maybe go ahead and make some of these changes, which maybe are in the better interest of the overall thing. Does it not also remove all of that?
It does.
Grant, is there any option to the city to say no on this, or say, you know, are we just, the city passed or the state passed the law and the city has to agree with it? Is that where we are?
Yes, that's an accurate statement. That is where we are.
Any other questions of staff? Go ahead.
Shane, I fully understand that if the developer or whomever is submitting the plans, and they all meet what's already,
Pull this up a little bit.
sorry.
Okay.
I fully understand that if it's a developed piece of property that's going to meet everything that's already on the books, that it just moves forward. But what happens when the developer maybe goes through the sketch plan and then comes back for the preliminary plan and wants to start changing things that are outside of the criteria that's already on the books?
Then we can deny it. Yeah,
But do you also have, will you have the authority to bend towards the developer and like the board would or the commission would?
not unless at that point in time they went for a variance of some sort.
All right.
Which would create an opportunity for public comment if they wanted to have smaller lots or less yard frontage or change the setbacks or something like that.
Yes. So basically, it comes down the path of permits. Everything is right by the book, then it's pretty much a done deal.
That's correct.
Any changes, then we'll throw it into another process.
If they're proposing something that goes outside of what we have existing on the books.
Thank you.
So Shane, I think I understand what some of the comments, where they're coming from. It's more like a almost checks and balances thing to keep public engaged. Realistically then, if there was concern about the way in which something would be developed, the choke point realistically would be that the city would have to change its requirements from a technical standpoint in order for changes to be adhered to going forward for a developer, right? As opposed to it being
We can't change any of the standards in response to a proposal.
not a response, but in the event that as an administrative team, you sit down and go, you know what, we think we have some issues that need to be addressed, and we change our technical requirements going forward. Not in response to something, but just in the process of evaluating, perhaps on a regular basis, our technical requirements, right?
Sure,
Yeah.
sure, yeah. And if we come across something that we think needs to be changed, we bring it to the city manager's attention and get direction on whether we should, make a proposal.
What's the underlying, you may not know the answer to this, what's the underlying reasoning behind these changes?
I think it is in favor of developers. I think over the years, they spend a lot of money to put a set of plans together. Let's say they spend $100,000 on stormwater engineering. And then they bring in a plat and they get a room full of people saying, you can't approve this because you don't meet the stormwater regulations. And they say, yes, we do. And they say, no, you don't. And it goes back and forth and back and forth. And That's the sort of thing that I think the state wants to eliminate.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Well, in eliminating that, I mean, it's a good idea to eliminate that back and forth. I think in the world of fairness, there should be. But let me ask this question, can we add something that creates more of a notice to public than just this monthly status report that comes out? Because I frankly don't know that many people really look at that. Is there something else that we could say if there's a new subdivision that gets applied for, that it becomes some notice somewhere? Or, I mean, I'm just worried about the public getting cut out of the process. I understand the state would like that.
Understand.
I understand from administrative efficiency, that's great. But from the world we live in, where every commercial, residential subdivision project gets accused by a significant number of people of being done underhandedly, payoffs, all of that, we're eliminating daylight. I mean, it just,
I understand, but it's state law.
but can
So I
something
don't-
be
I don't-
added to,
I don't
you know?
think we can add anything to this text amendment due to another state law, which is House Bill 180, saying we can't put any other restrictions, any new restrictions on any land development regulations. In addition, I think this bill says the same thing. You can't add any additional approval steps. I think as a policy, we can take direction from the city manager, who may want us to come up with some other way of making the public aware of these. I know we've got at least one commissioner in the audience tonight listening, so, you know, that may come up when this goes to city commission in a few weeks. But we can't add anything to the official text of the ordinance.
Anything else?
Shane, isn't it pretty true that the state has taken over the development regulations and pretty much dictating to you the way that it's to be done in the future? You know, the SB 180,
Sure.
this other stuff, I mean, you know, it's not what the people want. It's not what the small towns want. They put a committee together and come in front of us and in front of you, and hey, we'd like to see sidewalks wider, we'd like to see this or that. You no longer can control that. You know, I think it's very important that the public understands that the cities no longer control their developing. They don't, the state
Well-
does. And if you want to get into it deeper, the developers have been up in Tallahassee, okay, with their lobbyists. And it's black and white. All you got to do is read about it. And I'm not trying to say anything horrendous here, but the staff gets blamed for this kind of stuff. You know, you guys missed this, you didn't do that. People come in screaming. We don't have control over that. P&Z don't have control over it. They're told this is the regulations, this is how it's going to be by Tallahassee. So I wanted to kind of, you know, I think that's pretty correct.
We're still in control of our actual regulations. I mean, right now we are hampered by 180. But as far as the design standards, we are in control of those once you take that off the table. But some of these other approval things, you know, they are preempting local governments for sure.
Any other questions of staff? Okay. Thank you, Shane.
No.
At this time, we'll go ahead and open up public participation. A 3-minute limitation will be imposed unless otherwise granted by the board. Is there anyone like to come forward at this time?
Good evening, all, and Happy New Year.
If you
What
don't
I'd
mind
like to
stating
talk
your-
about is...
If you don't mind stating your name and
I'm
address for the
sorry,
record.
Joe Dluback, 3587 Casalta Circle. What I'd like to do is recognize the discussion that's going on, and that is the impact, the reduction of the impact by the public in terms of what the city is doing. First, the city tried to impose a restriction where the mayor had a 2-year term of office, changing it to 4, reducing the impact of citizen input with the city commission. The second was the change in the primary to 50 plus 1, which again reduced our impact on what was going on. Thirdly, there's a change that is being implemented next week, where the city commission meetings are being started at 5:30 rather than 6:30.
If you don't mind me asking you real quick, how does this pertain to this agenda item? If you could tie that to that.
Because this is the fourth item that the city is imposing that eliminates or minimizes the impact on the people that you work for. The city citizens. Each one of those impacts what goes on in the city, and each one of those was an attempt or is a plan to reduce citizen participation. If this in fact passes, there will be no public participation in any part of the plat process. Just incredible, and we thank you for your comments. We implored you as members of the city, of the Planning and Zoning Board, to require that the City Commission implement a process that there is a public participation phase as this continues forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that'd like to come forward at this time for this agenda item? Seeing none, public participation is closed. City staff, do you have anything further you'd like to clarify?
Yeah, just in response to some of those comments, I think those were dealing with charter review, and those recommendations came out of a committee that worked on them, and they went to the public for a vote. This is a totally different situation. This is where the state is imposing these rules on us. This is not initiated by the city in any way. We're just trying to get in compliance with state law. So that's one point. Other point is, Jake just reminded me that our PUDs will still be subject to public hearings, and those are typically our largest developments. And so when those come through, you'll be seeing those, and also site plans. As of right now, the state hasn't taken that authority away from us yet, but we'll see what they do next year.
So would a site plan be required for a subdivision, residential subdivision plat that would still become in front of public hearings and so forth?
Not for a plat, but for commercial developments and things of that nature, they'll still be.
But not for residential subdivisions?
No.
Okay.
Unless it's a PUD agreement at the very beginning.
PUD is
Okay,
a separate
right.
matter, I understand
Yep,
that.
just want to make sure.
That's correct. But yeah, but this, just to reiterate one more time, this is not something that we looked to initiate on our own. We're just trying to get into compliance with state law.
Right.
Anything else for staff? Okay, thank you. Discussion and/or questions by the board?
Grant, what's the penalty from the state if we say no?
This is state law. We will follow it. Failure to do so would open us up to litigation, any number of cases by any number of developers. It would put the city in a very bad position.
But am I correct in saying that we, as the Planning and Zoning Board, could recommend to the City Commission that because of this is an imposed regulation, a state regulation, we recommend its approval, but we secondarily recommend that the city planning staff develop some notice procedure on subdivision applications outside of PUDs and whatever, more so than just the simple monthly announcement that would perhaps give city residents more of a heads up of what's happening.
If the board so desires, they can make that as part of their recommendation to the city commission.
Any other discussion? If there is none, do I have a motion to recommend to the city commission to approve ZT 10-2025 proposed text amendment to the city's land development regulations?
I'd like to make a motion to give a positive recommendation to the city commission to approve the proposed zoning text amendment changes. I further would like to add to the recommendation that the city planning department develop another mechanism of letting the public know that a subdivision application is pending.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion by the board? The only thing I want to bring up, if that's okay, on your additional recommendation for planning staff, being on a planning staff myself, I also understand the additional impact that may put on them as far as their time constraints, workload. So I think what you're saying is we just need a way to potentially get the word out, but that doesn't require a brand new lengthy like PowerPoints and presentations, and we're just simply it could be something as simple as a Facebook post, just something that's simple enough for them to get the message out without overwhelming staff with a new additional administrative requirement they're going to have to worry about.
I agree with that 100%, and that's the intent. And I think
Okay.
that if anything required more than that, it probably could be viewed as attempting to change the state law.
Okay.
And yeah, I agree. Just letting the people know, that's the whole key.
Just wanted to get the intent
Absolutely.
fleshed out a little bit, so thank you. If there's no other discussion, Stephanie, could you please call the roll vote?
Member Bean?
Yes?
Member Hall?
Yes.
Member McKenna?
Yes.
Member Causey?
Yes.
And Chair Wheatcraft.
Yes.
On the motion to recommend approval to City Commission with the additional condition or requirements for ZT-10-25 subdivision plat process, the vote is 5 in favor, 0 opposed, the motion passes.
Thank you. We'll move on to new business, SE-0003-2025 at 1311 North Dixie Freeway. This is the review and recommendation to the City Commission for a proposed special exception use of auto sales in the B3 Highway Service Business District. City staff, do you have a report?
I do. We have applicant and property owner Denise and Sherry Campbell requesting a special exception to allow indoor automobile sales at this building you see right here, this property you see on the screen. A little perspective there, it's just south of Industrial Park Drive. Kind of across the street there is the airport. It's one large parcel, 2.59 acres. It's zone B3. Everything around there is a B3. It's impervious. The whole site is underground exfiltration. Again, this is a former Mullinex dealership. Now, in the last couple of years, we've kind of had special exceptions on this for automobile sales, and they've been improved. This one's actually scaled back to simply being indoor auto sales, and it's going to be high-end cars kind of moving out of a garage. It's not going to be a car lot. There are special exception requirements that must be met for all special exceptions. One, it is a use listed in the district, which this is. It will not impair the character of the community, nor be detrimental to the public health, morals, or welfare of the area. Basically, this was a dealership, and everything is indoors on this one, so I don't see any impact at all to the community being negative. And adequate utilities, access roads, drainage, sanitation, other necessary services and facilities are or will be available. The subject parcel is served with utilities. It's been there for many years. Here's a couple of the cars. You're looking at a couple, I think that's a Bentley and maybe a Ferrari there. So those are the kind of cars that are even moving through this facility right here. We recommend approval, but they must, actually you recommend approval to the City Commission. They must obtain a BTR business tax receipt before the business opens, and approval will be good for 2 years. That's our recommendation. Any questions for me?
Any questions of staff?
Is there, Jake, is there going to be a service center as well, or is it just strictly sales?
Strictly sales. Not many, not a lot of Ferraris and Bentleys.
Not a big turnover? I don't know.
Any other questions? Okay, seeing none, thank you. Is the applicant or representative present? Would you like to come forward? You don't necessarily have to. It's up to you. Any questions of the board for the applicant? Okay, thank you. We'll go ahead and open up public participation. A 3-minute limitation will be imposed unless otherwise granted by the board. Okay, seeing none, public participation is closed. I'd imagine city staff has nothing further. Same thing for the applicant, so discussion and/or questions by the board.
Just curious, when do you plan to open, if everything is equal?
If you're going to ask that, we'll have to bring him forward, if that's okay.
Oh,
If you don't mind coming forward to answer his question real quick. It's fine. We have to have it on record for everybody taking minutes.
Dennis Tao with Delgall Ltd. Incorporated, 1311 North Dixie Freeway.
Thank you. Go ahead and ask your
when,
question.
when do you plan to open, or when would you like to open?
That's under negotiations with the current dealer.
Do you mind speaking directly into the
Sure.
mic?
That's under negotiations with the current dealer. We're not sure when he can move his assets and things over there, get his licenses approved. We do have to have a state transfer, which will take it from where it's at now over to our location. And there'll probably be a couple more because it's a unique situation for small dealers to be able to advertise online and then sell their cars just inside. And so there'll be very low volume. It's not going to be obvious to the public whatsoever. There'll be, and actually in all our leases, we do not allow any outside display whatsoever. And that's been day one. All right. So if you go by there, you'll see it's just all offices now, and the building's very, very attractive, and we won't allow any decoration of that.
Any other questions for him? Okay, thank you. Any other discussion and/or questions by the board? I think this one's kind of straightforward for the use where it's at, prior history, so I don't have any issue. With that being said, is there a motion to recommend to the City Commission to approve the requested special exception use with the condition of obtaining a business tax receipt before the business opens, and 2, the approval is good for 2 years from the City Commission approval or until a BTR has been attained in accordance with staff's report?
Yeah, I would motion to give a positive recommendation to the city commission to approve the requested special exception
With the conditions laid by staff?
with the conditions
Okay.
laid by staff.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Stephanie, could you please call the roll vote?
Member McKenna?
Yes.
Member Hall?
Yes.
Member Causey?
Yes.
Member Bean?
Yes.
Chair Wheatcraft?
Yes.
On the motion to recommend approval to City Commission for SE-3-25, 1311 North Dixie Freeway, the vote is 5 in favor, 0 opposed. The motion passes.
Thank you. We'll move on to item B, which is SV-0004-2025 Citron Street. This is the review and recommendation to the City Commission for a proposed street vacation of a section of Citron Street. City staff, do you have a report?
We do. We have applicant Glenn Storch, 420 South Nova Road, Daytona Beach, requesting vacation of a 40-foot wide by 267.78-foot section of platted Citron Street right-of-way. Basically, you're looking at Citron there with my kind of hand-drawn little image there with the arrow pointing to it, and that's 44 to the south right there. And there's kind of a more blown-up location map there with the railroad tracks to the east right there. So this kind of whole thing got started, I don't know if everyone remembers, but we had a kind of a comp plan amendment from industrial mixed use to industrial on this. And they were going to put in a little warehouse building back in here. It was called Cassidy Warehouse. Site plan comes in, looking at it, and it says Citron Street, legal status unknown, which raised the question, well, what is the legal status? And it turns out that little section does not appear to ever have been actually vacated. It also says proposed Douglas Street, and we've determined that Douglas Street was never actually developed. So here's the original plat dating way back 131 years ago. You could see Citron Street on the bottom down there, and that line is basically what is now 44. So Citron exists, and then this is the map that shows kind of Douglas where it says proposed, kind of highlighted in yellow down there. That was basically the bottom of that plat ended there. Douglas Street never got put in, so what would have been is that driveway on the north side of Lexington Place right there. So that little strip of Citron is still there. So for street vacations to go on, we have to review the application package for consistency with the city comprehensive plan and LDR. In addition, the city planner must determine whether or not the proposed vacation would be in interest of the public good. And this application for street vacation is consistent with the LDR. And there's also a provision for utilities must review it. And there are some overhead power lines on this, which the NSBU has They don't object to the vacation, but they need an easement for the power lines, which has been agreed to. So we don't really see any issues with this little section of Citron Street being vacated, and we recommend City Commission approve the right-of-way vacation. And if you've got any questions for me, I'm here.
Thank you. Any questions of staff?
Does the city own that property?
No, it is owned by a private individual that was sold to them by the railroad on the other side, and they're putting a warehouse building tucked back in there. In fact, when the whole thing was going on, they had to change the comp plan, and the actual developer, because industrial zoning has some uses that are kind of, could be potentially not very neighborly, so they actually agreed to prohibit a whole bunch of uses back in there as part of the process. So there's no service stations, there's no recycling, there's no paint and body shops, no boat buildings, so I can get fiberglass building, because it is a residential street when you come off Canal back in there. So they really did quite a bit to actually try to kind of work with the neighborhood around there when they did the rezoning comp plan.
Thank you. Any other questions of staff? Okay, seeing none, thank you. Is the applicant or representative present? And would you like to add anything or?
Sure. Good evening. My name is Corey Brown with Storch Law Firm, 420 South Nova Road, Daytona Beach. Really just, if you have any questions, I'm happy to try to answer them.
Thank you. Any questions to the applicant? Okay, thank you. At this time, we'll open up public participation. A 3-minute limitation will be imposed unless otherwise granted by the board. Is there anyone who'd like to come forward? Seeing none, public participation is closed. I'd imagine staff has nothing further, as well as the applicant. Discussion and/or questions by the board? Okay, seeing none, do I have a motion to recommend to the City Commission to approve the requested street vacation?
So moved.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Stephanie, could you please call a roll vote?
Member McKenna?
Yes.
Member Bean?
Yes.
Member Causey?
Yes.
Member Hall?
Yes.
And Chair Wheatcraft?
Yes.
On the motion to recommend approval to City Commission for SV-4-25 Citron Street, as submitted, the vote is 5 in favor, 0 opposed, the motion passes.
Thank you. Move on to item C, which is A-0014-2025 Doster Drive. This is the review and first public hearing of a voluntary annexation, rezoning, and small-scale comprehensive plan amendment to the future land use map. City staff, do you have a report?
Yes, Mr. Chair. So the property owners, which is the city of New Smyrna Beach, has requested a voluntary annexation, small-scale comprehensive plan amendment, changing the future land use category from Volusia County Urban Low Intensity and Environmental Service Corridor, and rezoning from Volusia County zoning designation of R4 Urban Single Family Residential and a Resource Corridor with an A attached for the Airport Heights Notification Zone to a city future land use category of conservation and a city zoning designation of conservation with an A attached for the Airport Heights Notification Zone. So the undeveloped site contains approximately 2.75 plus or minus acres. It's located on the south side of Doster Drive, just west of the Turnbull Creek. The Planning Department recommends the Planning and Zoning Board give a positive recommendation to the City Commission to approve the requested annexation, small-scale comprehensive plan amending to changing the future land use category to city conservation and a rezoning to city conservation with an A attached for the Airport Heights Notification Zone. And that's a summary of the staff report, subject to any questions that the board may have.
Thank you. Any questions of staff? Okay, seeing
Can you
none.
give a little
Go ahead.
history upon the acquisition by New Smyrna Beach of this particular property?
Yeah, so this property was purchased using the Turnbull Grant program, and it was picked out by the Turnbull Bay Committee, and so the city moved forward and negotiated with the property owner, and we purchased the property to put it in conservation since it borders the Turnbull Creek.
And when was that done?
I'm not sure actually, but it was this year.
This past year?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
It looks like the property is long and narrow. The east side of it is clearly accomplishing the goals of conservation. The left side of it appears to be adjacent to some residential lots. Was there any consideration given to only making half of this property into conservation and allowing the other part of it, which you can see it backing up to some residential lots, that would be outside the lines of the conservation thing, if it is, to do maybe some workforce housing or donate it to Habitat for Humanity or something of nature to get a little different use than conservancy.
Right. I don't think that was part of the program. The grant program was specifically to purchase properties to preserve so that we can preserve the Turnbull watershed. And since this property adjacent to the actual creek, and it was all one parcel, that's why we purchased the entire parcel. But we can't resell it for a development when it was used, grant money was used and bond money was used to purchase this for preservation.
This is also an area that floods quite a bit. It's a lot of wetlands. So it's actually, to me, it's a really good thing that we're actually putting this particular area into conservation. I get where you're coming from.
Yeah, just one of the best use of, and from the
Sure.
city's perspective.
For those neighbors, the best use is to not develop that land.
How many acres is it? How many acres was it?
This is 2.75 acres.
How much you pay for it?
That I do not know. That was purchased through the city manager's office.
Any other questions of staff? Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, gentlemen.
The applicant's the city, so. Public participation is open now. A 3-minute limitation will be imposed unless otherwise granted by the board. Seeing none, public participation is closed. I'd imagine staff has nothing further, so anything further from the board? Okay, thank you. Is there a motion to recommend to the city commission to approve the overall annexation request, including the rezoning and proposed future land use?
So moved.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Stephanie, could you please call the roll vote?
Member Bean?
Yes.
Member Hall?
Yes.
Member McKenna?
Yes.
Member Causey?
Yes.
And Chair Wheatcraft.
Yes.
On the motion to recommend approval to City Commission for A-14-25 Duster Drive, the vote is 5 in favor, 0 opposed, the motion passes.
Thank you. We'll move on to item E, which is SV-0003-2025 Buck Lane. This is a review and recommendation to the City Commission for a proposed street vacation of a section of Buck Lane platted as Second Street. City staff, do you have a report?
We do. We have applicant Jesse Kobe, the Capital Improvements Director for New Smyrna Beach, requested this application basically to allow the development or future expansion of Fire Station 50. So as you're looking at this, the city already vacated the north 25 feet of this right-of-way, not the section that you see, but kind of up to that pavement up above. So that was, we vacated half of it already. And if you're looking at this aerial, it's about a year old now. That house right there, 1400 Finley Street, has been bought by the city and raised basically to facilitate the expansion of the firehouse. Now, when we vacated the northern part of this right-of-way, the owner at the time did not want the 25 feet put on her property because I think her concern was it was going to raise her taxes. So she said, I don't want part of it. So we vacated 25 feet of it. Well, now we've gone back, bought the lot, and we're going to vacate this whole thing so the fire station can take over the property. This is kind of how it lays out originally. You see some of these perspective when you're looking at things. Second Street is now Buck Lane. So when you flip through there, Buck Lane used to cut right through the whole fire station. That section, once upon a time, was vacated as well. Third was Old Mission, Finley, and then second is at Buck Lane. And then I kind of drew that little tiny square right there, a rectangle area to be vacated. So it's just that little tiny strip across those two parcels right there. And then here's a depiction of it on a sketch of description, not a survey, but it shows the 25-foot by 94.08-foot section that's going to be vacated, hopefully. Same conditions as the last one. We reviewed it. We view it as a benefit to the city. We don't see any harm to it. And NSBU and the utilities does not require any easements or anything on this one at all. So we recommend approval. Any questions?
Any questions of staff? Okay, thank you. We'll go ahead and open up public participation. A 3-minute limitation will be imposed unless otherwise granted by the board. Seeing none, public participation is closed. Discussion and/or questions by the board? If there is none, lost my spot. If there is none, do I have a motion to recommend to the city commission to approve the requested street vacation?
So moved.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Causey.
Causey got it.
Stephanie, could you please call the roll vote?
Member McKenna?
Yes.
Member Causey?
Yes.
Member Hall?
Yes.
Member Bean?
Yes.
And Chair Wheatcraft?
Yes.
Motion to recommend approval to City Commission for SV-3-25 Buck Lane. The vote is 5 in favor, 0 opposed, and motion passes.
Thank you. We'll move on to item G, which is nominate and vote on a 2026 Planning and Zoning Board Chairperson and Vice Chairperson. City staff.
So it is in our documents that we, at the first meeting in January, make new elections. So I open it to you guys for discussion on nominations. We can start with vice chair or chair.
Usually you start with chair.
You can start with the chair.
I recommend Mr. Wheatcraft as the chairman of our board again.
You nominate.
I nominate.
So just one point as we begin this, because I've seen this go a couple different ways. If you'd like to nominate before there's a second, if that person does not want to accept, that's the opportunity to jump in and say, I would not accept this nomination before there's a second, and then we have to vote on it, knowing full well that the person who's been nominated doesn't want the position. So if we could just take a pause after somebody's nominated and give that opportunity, that may save us some time, depending on
second
how
it.
things.
You seconding your own nomination?
Thank you,
I
John.
second
And you can nominate yourself as well.
I will only accept if that's what you guys want. So I'm completely good either way. I'm just here to serve. So that's it.
Do we have any other nominations? No? Okay.
I guess
So I will second it.
Okay.
I'm
Well,
stuck.
if we only have one nomination, do we still need to vote
Yes, we
by
do.
ballot?
Okay. Stephanie, could you please call the roll vote?
Well,
For-
we
oh,
have
I'm sorry.
ballots.
No, we don't need the ballot if it's unanimously.
Yeah. Okay.
So no vote then if it's?
No
unanimous?
ballot if it's unanimous. So,
Okay.
but I have to call roll though.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
I'll let you call it.
Ready? Member Hall?
Yes.
Member McKenna?
Yes.
Member Causey?
Yes.
Member Bean?
Yes.
And Chair Wheatcraft?
I suppose so.
Okay.
Okay, so now as vice chair?
Now we'll move to nominations for vice chair.
And the people that are not here, you can also nominate them as well.
Oh, that's what we
But
should-
I would recommend that
Potentially holding up for next meeting
if you'd like to
they're not here.
nominate someone who's not here, because they need to either accept or deny the nomination.
So I guess the question is, currently, Mr. Yates is vice chair. If
Yes.
you'd like him to remain vice chair potentially, then we would want to wait till next month. If you would like to change that, then now would be the time to make a different nomination.
I'll make a motion that the nomination and voting for vice chair be moved to next month.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Who seconded? You did first. Who did the motion? Oh, you did the motion and you did.
First and
Okay.
second.
Sorry.
So with that being said, Stephanie, could you please call the roll vote on moving it to next month?
Member Bean?
Yes.
Member McKenna?
Yes.
Member Causey?
Yes.
Member Hall?
Yes.
Chair Wheatcraft?
Yes.
On the motion to continue the vice chair nomination for the 2026 Planning and Zoning Board meeting to February 2nd, I believe it was?
Yes.
Board meeting. The vote is 5 in favor, 0 opposed, and motion passes.
Thank you. Comments or statements by members of the board? Anything to report? Okay, seeing none. Reports and communications by staff.
I just want to say Happy New Year and thank you guys for being here. That's all we've got.
Thank you. With that, we are adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.